What?
And now I guess they upgraded like the
power.
facility, the power.
That was like a big Capanova.
What?
It was Kappa.
How powerful are they?
I don't know.
That's-
I guess they need like 500 hertz so they can see the pixels very clearly.
Oh.
Yeah, with their monitors like here.
Yeah, like right here and
Right.
something like that.
Right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Cloud9 Kia Forecast, episode 10. Today we are joined by Vulcan, Zven, and Reapered. You guys just got back from your Korea Bootcamp.
Awesome.
How was it?
It was awesome.
That was awesome, yeah.
It was very awesome. Yeah.
This sounds a little scripted. Let's go a little bit more depth into it. How was it? You know, you guys played some solo queue.
I didn't get Challenger.
You didn't get Challenger? Who
Yeah.
did?
Blabber only. Loki did as well, I guess, but he's using his like normal account, so that's almost cheating, you know.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Yeah.
Monster MMR.
I was one game off on the last day. It was a winning game, and then my team threw. It wasn't me throwing.
Did you flame
Obviously.
them?
Nah. I just flamed it like a handful of times. It's kind of useless to flame them because they don't really speak the language.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
type anything in English, to type like pig to you.
Is that the new one? Big?
Yeah, pig.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. So while you guys were there, you boot camped with Dplus Kia, was it? Or you guys did some content with them?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Content, yeah.
What was that like?
I was playing this game, what's it called? One guy draws and another guy guesses with Meteos against
Kind
Zero
of like
and-
Pictionary?
Yeah, against Zero and Barrel. And they were so horrible. And we were laughing at them. But then when we did it, we lost.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys are more horrible.
Yeah. That's what I said, yeah.
Who do we blame?
Me, honestly.
Okay,
I was so terrible.
That's
but like
fair.
the things I got to draw was like Atakan, TFT board, which I don't know what that looks like. And then like, yeah, it's just unplayable.
Wait, how do you not draw a TFT board?
I don't play TFT, so I don't know what it looks like.
Oh, okay. Reaper should have helped them.
Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah.
there though. But it was 2v2.
He was chilling in the hotel.
I don't know how to draw Otacon either.
Yeah, I was like,
Atakan's hard.
disconnect.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
we lost. I was playing Lodel with Showmaker.
Yeah?
Yeah, like Splash Art Lodel.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was so horrible. I had to let him win.
Dude, the splash art ones are so hard sometimes.
Bro, it was like the first one was like it was like 6 legs on our screen, like Elise. I'm like, I wonder who that could be. It's like, come on, bro.
You got this.
Nah, dude, I play Loldo a lot. Some days it's so easy. It'll literally just be like the champion's face. And it's
Yeah.
just like, what do you think it is? And other times it'll be like the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
Just
One
like
of the last ones was like Oriana ball, and the only thing you see is the ball. And I'm like, damn, I
You
wonder
play
what
mid lane, buddy.
I wonder what I could be. He's like,
maybe he's just acting.
yeah. Oh shit, like me acting.
Yeah.
I was
Acting
like,
something.
I like guessing wrong things on purpose to like give him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like we played Lodel every day in the house, so I was like, this is too easy.
You guys did a show match for TFT with Dplus as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get into any spoilers
Right.
because, you know, that's still coming out. But what can the fans expect?
They can expect some very, very high level gameplay from everyone involved. No griefing, very the utmost, I don't know how you say it, integrity.
Mm-hmm.
No, like trying to help out the other person by, you know, taking up specific items or unit off the carousel.
I don't think people would do that.
No, you wouldn't see that in any type of competition
Mm-mm.
in TFT, not at the highest level ever. So, yeah, that's what you can expect.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. Reaper, I understand you were on vacation, not helping your team.
Yeah. I did.
Our best player slacking.
Okay.
It's not slacking. Obviously, I had a very big motivation for helping our team and then coaching them right behind when they are playing TFT. But unfortunately, I didn't get invited by David Han. So that was very unfortunate. Like, I put on blame on the David.
Again,
As usual.
Yeah.
can't win coin flips, can't stack the TFT roster. You know, it's
I was hoping I could dodge content because I don't play TFT and it's 4v4. But then they made me like hold the camera and the mic. I was like,
The biggest task.
it's like, so David, it's 4 people only? I'm like, hell yeah. And it's like, you're holding camera. What? You're holding the mic? I'm like, I'm around a microphone and a camera like this. I'm like, come on, bro. I was hoping I could dodge.
Yeah, nope, we need you for that. You got
Yeah.
the long arms.
Yeah, legit.
What were all you guys' impressions of the Dplus players from, you know, doing content with them, hanging out a little bit? I don't know. Have you met them before or spent much time with them?
We did interact with them a lot in Iceland, but it was a very different roster back when they had Nuguri, Canyon. Ghost was like the guy that was the most outgoing on that team. Sadly, he's not there anymore. But the one thing that I remember is Showmaker being like so tired. I don't know what kind of schedule he had, but he looked like so exhausted.
In Iceland or?
In the content we did in
Yeah.
Korea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
talking to him a bit.
Yeah.
I was doing content with him. I was like, "How are you, bro?" He's like, tired." I was like, "Why? What's up?" So many schedule. Is what he said. I think it means he has a lot to do that day. That's what
Yeah.
he meant.
Yeah, definitely. I get that.
But he's a cool guy. He's like funny. Speaks pretty good English, I'd say, for someone who's not in a team or anything. So it's nice to like do content with him. He's a cool guy.
Mm-hmm. What was the biggest surprise from anyone? Like, was there any player who you had a certain expectation of, and maybe they were just a lot different?
No, I mean I never like met Beryl or Sivu like in person, but they were like very friendly. They didn't speak English very well, but it was like friendly. They were laughing at us when we were filling the drawing stuff, but it was cool.
Was Beryl playing Genshin?
No.
Oh.
It was like we got there, right? And waited for like the video people to like get things set up. I think we sat there for like 5 minutes in pure silence. Like just like this. 5 minutes. Not one word said. Like
Really?
yeah, just like hello.
Nah, pro gamers.
just
pro
hello.
gamers.
Hello, sit down, and then just like
You don't hit them with an annyeonghaseyo.
no, I'm not the white guy who says like Korean words. It just feels too weird. Phil likes to do it, but I don't know. I feel like it's like fucked up.
No, dude, it's endearing. You're trying.
I feel like if I was them, I wouldn't like it.
You
But
sit there
I don't
being
know.
like these white people, man.
Yeah,
Trying to use
yeah,
speak my language.
exactly, yeah.
Appropriating our culture.
You know what I was talking about solo queue? Pig.
Yeah.
That's what they think in their heads. They're like pig. I'm like, yeah, 안녕하세요, and they're like pig.
It's a very pessimistic view of it.
Yeah, maybe it's true, but that's what I. Yeah.
I don't want to be a pig. I don't want to be a pig.
No, but they were pretty funny. Also, on what Zven said about it, like being awkward and them sitting there for 5 minutes, there was this one content piece where Blabber and Loki were playing against Aiming and Lucid, I think. And then the content piece was done, and Chris, our content guy, he was like, "All right, that's it, guys. Thank you." And then they were done, and Aiming and Lucid just sat there awkward. Like they knew it was finished, but they didn't know where to go because I think their managers didn't tell them, what's next. So we're just like NPCs on the couch. Just like slowly, pull out their phone, but they weren't doing anything. They clearly did not want to be there anymore.
Skiing.
Yeah, they were skiing completely.
That's so funny.
It was funny.
Anyway, we've got a lot of LTA changes coming for next season. This first split was a little bit disappointing, I would say, for the fans and
A little bit.
players. Very small amount.
Fucking dog shit format.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about all of them? We've got a lot more games. That's some good news. It's I think it's best of ones round robin for seeding, and then
3 weeks.
3 weeks of that. Then it goes into best of threes.
Yeah.
Then playoffs is best of fives.
Yeah.
So also we've got Fearless for the entire year,
Yeah.
which I'm pretty happy about that one. Sven, what do you think about it? What are your initial feelings when you?
I'm happy we got rid of the BO1s because otherwise it would be BO1 Fearless for 9 weeks.
It is BO1 Fearless.
Yeah, for 3 weeks only.
Yeah, that's true.
But
BO1 Fearless.
yeah. And I'm happy that we got best of fives the whole playoffs, and it's also double elimination in playoffs. That's like also good enough for me. And then I think the group format is a bit weird. I don't really get the point of the groups. It's like you play for 3 weeks to get into the groups, and then you play the best team for seeding after that. So why not just play seeding? Like I don't know. I don't get the group situation, but I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
I
fine with
didn't
it.
really get that either.
Like, why is there a group?
I know LCK
like-
did something
you
like
play
that
less
this
games,
year.
I
It's
think.
like you play,
basically.
yeah, basically. Like
That's
you
what
play
they
3 weeks
want, right?
against everyone, and then you play for 3 weeks in your own group only.
Okay.
Like one best of 3 per week, right?
Yeah.
Against the 3 teams in your group, and you play after that for seeding as the other group, right? Like one plays two.
I guess
didn't know that.
the grouping kind
something
of went over my
something
head.
like that. Yeah, it felt a bit like. Why
And
are
the
we
other
doing-
group could be like completely different strengths. Maybe seed 2 that
Yeah.
you play is like way worse than your seed 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it feels like
kind of weird.
it would be better to just play a BO3 against everyone in the whole league at that
Yeah.
point, instead of playing only your own group.
Maybe we don't have time for that.
Take what we can get.
yeah,
type
We need
shit.
the BO1s.
one step at a time.
Yeah, I like it. It's fine, whatever. Like I don't mind it. It's better than we had last split.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can't be worse.
Yeah. True.
I mean, they originally built up for Split 2 as a BO1, right?
Yeah, like the
And
old
so
then-
they had to like
And
last
then
minute
they
change.
changed this, so
Yeah.
they wanna put some meaningful system because
Yeah.
of they changing transfer like something.
So they have limitations. They
Yeah.
can't do whatever
Yeah.
they want. Yeah.
No, I'm happy with how it went. It was also cool seeing like Mark C like talking about how they do things and why, like transparency.
Oh, the video.
Yeah. I mean, I watched most of it or like the whole thing, but at some point I was like, okay, it's a little bit, corporate, like.
Yeah, it's
Blah, blah,
definitely a
blah.
balancing act for Mark because he's kind of like us in a way where he came from being a coach
Yeah.
and then he was a host on the Dive. He did a lot of like Riot adjacent stuff, but now he's like the full on commissioner. So
Yeah.
I think he's trying to balance. Obviously he cares about the scene a lot. I almost said LCS, but
Oh.
no, I mean
Sad.
this isn't a Riot show. Like
Miss her.
we should call LCS again. Like
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we gotta go back to that. Anyway, but yeah, he cares a lot about it.
Yeah.
He wants it to do well, but then he also has like his obligations to Riot. He's got to manage. I'm sure there's a ton of things, like a lot of constraints on him for like
Yeah, I mean, he's
what
gotta
he's
tank
allowed
the
to
higher
do.
ups, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like he's got people telling him what to do, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure his hands are tied on a lot.
Gun to his head behind the scenes.
Yeah, we did get more show days though, which is cool. I know that was a hard one for him.
Mhm.
Like they, especially with Valorant, kind of like being the
And they will
favorite
actually
child.
be using the like other stage for some of their games. I heard.
really Valorant's getting shoved in the locker.
Yeah, they are.
Finally.
I think previously they weren't able to send them there because of it had less power, and Valorant uses more power for their games or something.
What?
And now I guess they upgraded like the
power.
facility, the power.
That was like a big cup of no.
What?
It was Kappa.
How powerful are they?
I don't know.
That's-
I guess they need like 500 hertz so they can see the pixels very clearly.
Oh,
Yeah, with their monitors like here.
Yeah, like right here and
right.
something like that.
Right. Okay. At least there's a reason. I don't know how good of a reason it is. The other format change that we're getting is the LTA South teams. Like the top 3 teams from LTA South that are not qualifying for MSI are getting flown up for a boot camp.
And boot camp.
An NA boot camp. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's cool for them, I guess. It'll probably be a fun experience. It just feels weird a bit that the league is the one flying them out because it's not like other regions or other teams in the past, as far as I'm aware, were like sponsored a boot camp like that. I guess you can always have new things, right? I'm not saying like because it's new it's bad, but it just feels weird. And then it's like top 3. What about you end top 4 and now you don't get a boot camp, and the other 3 teams who didn't qualify for anything else they get a boot camp. It just feels a bit odd, but we'll see. I'm not sure we'll scrim them. It'll depend. Like maybe they'll scrim.
Yeah, it's kind of
some,
like when
like,
we go to
lower
Korea and we don't
LTA
scrim
teams.
anyone from LTK.
Yeah, that is always the thing. It's people talk about going somewhere for boot camp, and it's kind of assumed like, oh, you're going to Korea for a boot camp. That's so good. They've got like T1 and whatever. But then the reality is, it's like you're scrimming, tier 2 or tier 3 teams who might be worse than everyone. So we'll see how it is. I think it's at least the thought of it seems positive. They want to like help level up LTA South because obviously in the first stand tournament, like they kind of got ran through by the North. And they want the Americas to be one collective region,
Yeah.
make everyone stronger.
Fun fact: did you know that Seoul, Korea, is closer to Los Angeles than Sao Paulo, Brazil?
Really?
Yes, we looked it up.
That is fun.
because we flew from Sao Paulo to LA, and then shortly after that we did LA to Seoul. So I
Yeah.
was thinking like because the flight time was pretty similar, and it turns out that in like distance, like miles, it's actually closer, which is kind of funny because
Wait,
we're in a
that's actually
conference. We're in a conference with them,
insane.
right? But we could be in a conference with Korea based on distance.
Yeah. Wow.
Kind of funny.
That is. What? Huh.
Yeah, that's really funny actually.
I'm a little sunlocked.
I mean, I wonder like what the price difference from Riot flying them from, Sao Paulo to LA versus giving them to Korea.
Yeah.
Might be better for them. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Then the other change that we've got is that all the tier 1 teams, the LTA teams, can stream their scrims against
That's awesome.
tier 2. You guys have any more thoughts on that? I know stream scrims was kind of a big thing coming into this year with Los Vertones doing it, and Whippo from FlyQuest was a big proponent of it. And you guys did, I know, at least one stream,
Yeah.
like
One day.
stream set. Did you do any more, or was it just the one?
Just the one so
Okay.
far. Yeah.
I think it has like some upsides and some downsides, but I didn't like it personally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did you not like about it?
It just felt like like you're streaming scrims, you're not focused 100%. Even though you're normally on broadcast, basically same thing, just felt weird. I don't know how to explain it. And it felt like the stream would be worse than if you were giving it your all, you know. So you have to like choose between the stream or the scrim, and it felt weird.
Okay.
Also, there's like breaks between, like, you know, you have to take just like a 1 hour break normally. It's like 3 games, 1 hour break, 3 games. So it's 1 hour just AFK or what. And there's like things like that I didn't really like. Didn't make sense for me. But I don't know. Seemed okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. One thing that I guess I'll ask you guys what you think of it. What I think would be cool for stream scrims would be to like see if the two teams could agree on doing like really, really short reviews between games for it. Because when I was doing the guest coaching with Dplus team, that was one thing that like I kind of talked to Dplus about. He was saying like, yeah, for stream viewership, it's not that interesting when you're just reviewing a game for like 25, 30 minutes or whatever. And I think that for the LCS scrims, like you guys don't stream the review, right?
Yeah, we had a cap as well.
FlyQuest did.
Some of
we
the games,
didn't show the draft.
Yeah, some of the games,
Yeah, because I mean, there's some things you don't want to give away, right? It's like
that's the thing with me is like when you're going into scrim day, you're obviously going into it with the mindset that you know you're trying to get better and you have certain goals and you're trying to like work on, get better at, work on your new champs, whatever. But when you're streaming, it just kind of like what Zven said, it takes focus away from the real objective of scrimming, which is make the team better. And now it's like you're doing it to entertain it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's harder to like show new champs that you're practicing. You don't want to show reviews, or if you do, like maybe I won't, snap at somebody who I think needs to be, called out, for example.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, everyone's watching, right? So
yeah, that's actually a really good point because I've always been a strong believer that like you kind of need that, not necessarily a villain on the team, but like there's some things that just need to be said, right? If somebody is like really running it down or inting or just like unfocused, like basically just doing something that they wouldn't do on stage, like it kind of has to be called out.
Yeah.
And someone's got to do it, right? It's like nobody really wants to be the bad guy, but I've always been a strong
talk for you can talk for yourself here on that one.
Maybe some people like being the bad guy. I don't know. I ended up being the bad guy a lot of the time when I was playing, but a lot of the time, like you kind of need that, right? Because if nobody wants to do it, then like it'll just get pushed under the rug, and those things will keep happening, and oops, we're in playoffs, and that thing that I didn't want to call out to save his feelings happened, and GG.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I totally get that when you're being streamed, because so much of streaming too is like one thing with streaming is you're kind of in the back of your mind, you have this idea that any single thing that happens can be clipped, and then it becomes like an immortalized impression of you, right? It's like this one thing you said because you were tilted or frustrated gets clipped front page of the league subreddit, LSF, whatever, and now like all these people who never knew you know you for this one thing. And so, it definitely can be tricky. I get that. Next up, we've got a little bit of Q&A for you guys.
Awesome.
You'll each get a turn to answer. So first one, Zven, you'll start. Who's the best player you've directly played against? It can be a scrim or an official match. How did it go, and what did you learn?
Well, it has to be Faker. I think my record's like 1-10.
You beat him.
Yeah, one game in a series that I lost.
That's a win. That's more than most people.
I think like my history against Faker is like World Semis 15, 0-3. Then I played him at MSI Finals 1-3. Then I played him like groups 20-22, lost, and somewhere else I put some MSI somewhere and lost.
Okay.
So yeah, like 1-10 or 1-11.
That's pretty good. Anything stand out though? Like obviously he's Faker, right?
Yeah.
But in any specifics you can remember from like while you were in the game playing against him, you're just like, what is this guy?
No, I mean he's always been good, right? But there wasn't any moment where I thought like this guy was like, I mean, he played with like some of the best players of all time as well, So, no, I never did thought about it.
Yeah, because I had a similar thing with Faker where I remember my initial impression of playing against him. This was like season 4 or whatever. I was like, I can't hit this guy with skill shots. Like his movement was just different. Like I think nowadays a lot more people do
He was
that.
American.
No, but like he wiggled his character so much. And
That's true. He does have the wiggle, the move esky wiggle. Like
and like I think it's a lot
true.
more common nowadays. But back then, like people
Yeah.
did not do that. Like he was so hard to hit with abilities
It's true. Like
that it just like it felt like he was cheating.
yeah, it's true. Like the wiggle was very unique for its time.
Yeah, Reapered,
Hmm?
your turn. Who you got?
Um,
Who is seared into your mind?
I'll say the Shy or Keen. Licorice was very struggling against the Shy in the Scream, I think.
Everyone was.
Yeah, everyone
He was
was.
like the CEO of that year.
Yeah, see, he was actually like so like untouchably good on the top lane, and then you guys were not on that roster, right? 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never seen someone solo 10K lead single lane from the game. Like there's lots of games you can see like 10K lead and then like 2K up from this lane, 2K up from this lane, maybe like maximum like 4K,
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, right? Like I first time saw 10K up in single lane.
What was the matchup?
I don't remember, but he was playing Irelia. That's what I remember.
Oh my god!
Maybe not really or something.
I don't know. I don't.
Poor Licorice.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what was the matchup, but
He tried to forget.
it was rough.
It's funny. I never heard Eric talk about this before.
Yeah, I think he
did.
also tried to forget.
Yeah, you probably repressed that deep if you asked me, so I don't know what you're talking about. All right, Vulcan, who you got?
The
Who
first,
left an impression on you?
yeah, the person that comes to mind is Uzi in 2019 at Worlds. We just couldn't really lane. Like we played like a matchup that was not great for us, but our turret was like going down. We couldn't breathe. We had to take like shit recalls. We're down a lot of CS. He was just stomping so hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always curious because it's like, from a laning perspective, like, what do they do differently, right? Is it just like, is it their spacing? Is it they're just doing things you don't expect? Or like, what is it that makes someone, so much better?
It's a lot of things. For example, like he was playing Ezreal in that one game, and it's about like, he's hitting all his skill shots, but you can't really hit him back with
Yeah.
yours. So obviously there's a gap there. Or he's like playing on the line where we have some engage, but if I go, it's bad. So like he knows that he can't be jumped on, so he'll like walk up in your face and make you go even though it's bad.
Okay.
Or play on the line very well and play aggressively. So things like that.
Next question. We've got, what was everyone's welcome to the big league moment that sticks with them? You can start, Vulcan.
Is that like...
It's
it's like a positive thing, or like
It
you got
can-
shit on?
I think it's probably more of like a wake-up call is how
Okay.
I would imagine it. It's like, going from solo queue or amateur to the pro scene where you're just like, wow, like these guys are different.
Maybe when I subbed in 2018 for 2 games on Clutch, because the main team was having issues, and we got subbed in for a game against, I think it was 100 Thieves and TL. So you might have been on one of the 100 Thieves roster at that point.
Depends if it was spring or summer.
It was in summer, I think.
Yeah, I probably wasn't there.
Something happened, I believe, in that moment. Yeah, okay.
Shit.
But we got subbed in, and we were like, me and Piglet were winning lane against Cody and Afro, I think it was at the time.
Piglet.
And we were winning lane, but then at some point, they just came back, or like TP'd back or something. I think it was TP meta. They TP'd back, and then they just like all in us, like complete brain dead. They just like flashed in, jumped in, like, because they had stronger items, and then we just died and lost the whole game off of it. And it's not like they played it super well. They just had, they knew they had a good spike, and they just fought, like clicked their buttons. That's the one thing I can think of in terms of a big, what did you call it? The big league.
Welcome to the big league moment.
Yes, that would be it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have one. I feel like
You've always been in the big leagues.
yeah.
You're
kinda.
welcoming everyone else to
I
the
mean,
big
I
leagues.
played 1 year in Challengers, right, before I qualified for LAC. But
That's
I
when
never,
Inero was there with Mouse Sports, and he finished second, if I remember.
Yeah, I
correctly.
remember and I was like, I never really like had this moment. I made finals in my first split, and even though we lost, I didn't feel like I got that kind of feeling from it. And we went to Worlds, we did well. I didn't feel like I got that feeling from that World tournament either, even though we lost 3-0 in the semis to SKT. So I'm not sure when I got that.
So from the first time you played League to your first Worlds is just all smooth sailing.
I mean, it wasn't smooth sailing. There was like ups and downs, but like I didn't really feel like the welcome to the big league moment like that. I guess.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's cool.
it's like more of a slow, gradual thing than like one singular moment. I guess.
Yeah, I get that. Me?
Me?
Well, I have 30 KDA on Zach.
Yeah, I'll see you
my
of,
welcome to the
season
big league
3.
moment. I think the one that sticks with me the most was when we were back on Quantic, getting ready for the LCS, for the very first qualifier. I was super nervous because I had like kind of dipped out on college without telling my dad. He wasn't too happy about that, so I was really banking on this working out. And we had been practicing against TSM a lot leading up to it, and like they were the number 1 team at the time. We were a random amateur team. We just kind of knew him through Turtle. And we had like a 90% win rate in scrims against him. And I had assumed that they just weren't taking it seriously. Maybe they were just like trying to get info from us. But then that was back during Game Cribs. And I remember like the very end of a Game Cribs episode, the odd one was like, we started scrimming this new team. And I don't know if they're God tier good or what, but like we just can't beat them. And then when I watched that, I think that was kind of a moment where I was like, like, are we actually good? Because like we thought they were just trolling. And then obviously, the rest is history. We like won our first split, barely losing. And that was a really cool moment.
So you're the one giving them the big league moment.
Welcome to the pistol moment.
we made the league a little bigger, I think. Next one we've got, what is one champ each of you wish was meta so you could play it? Zven, you can start.
I mean, the champs I like are almost always meta, or like they're in and out. Like my favorite champs are Kalista and Israel, and they're always one of them is meta. It feels like they come back, once in a while, and then they go for like a couple months. But yeah, those two are my favorite champs.
You don't have any like crazy off meta pick. You're just.
I mean, I like playing funny champs. I like when I could play like Cinderbot or Cassio or something like this. I think that's fun to play, but I wouldn't say that like I miss them or like I love it. It's just like. Yeah, it's fun to play. Yeah. It's cool. It's nice to be special. Most ADCs can't play, SIGs or something like that. Yeah. So it's cool to be able to, but not like fun champs. Gotcha. Like Ezreal and Kalista, jumping around. Yeah, I like Ezreal and Kalista because they're like mobile and very skill expressive. So you can always be better no matter what. You can always dodge one more mobility or hit one more Q on Ezreal. So it's very, perfect champs in the way that you can always be better.
Mm-hmm. I remember watching your stream and you always want to pick Ezreal because you're like, I don't know if my support's gonna grieve.
Yeah, it's like a Western thing. It's like you log in Kalista, you want like a Nautilus, you get a Sona. Like, oh, awesome. No, I'm useless. So in the West or like in EU solo queue, just log in Ezreal. It's like blind pickable, good in lane, scales, good with melee and range support. Perfect.
Yeah, not gonna have a horrible time. Reapered, you got one?
Yeah, I got one. I missed so much on the Crypto on Lucian.
Kaspensi.
Yeah.
Oh, Klepto.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The top Lucian I was playing, it's because of one of the, I think it was a Reddit post, actually. One of the Reddit posts, posting by someone, like, he was explaining why top Crypto Lucian is good. Because most of the game, his match history was like 10 death. Or 12 death or something like that. But
was it the boss?
You're like, yeah, that's me.
Identify with this guy. Yeah. I see myself in him.
But his explain was good because of the jungle attention is going towards the top side because of you're playing top Lucian without TP.
Oh.
Yeah, without TP, top Klepto. And also, it triggers enemy jungler. So enemy jungler come top no matter what. But because of you have a crypto, you have so much money. So you can, even you died, you can like covering up yourself. And then because of your jungler tension going to the mid or bot, and they were kind of getting lushed by your game statement, right? Yeah. Our top lane, that's like 5 times already. We need to do something in here, right? So he was win a lot with the like negative KDA, and I was copying that. It was actually good, so I missed that meta.
Okay.
Yeah, that one is the only one I actually had a fun after like I retired. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was gonna pick one, I feel like Rek'Sai maybe. Like Rek'Sai, if we're talking pro meta, I guess. Yeah. Like I want to see Rek'Sai in pro play. I think
Flash
she's super
W.
fun. Yeah, it's sick.
Sick combo.
Yeah. It's awesome. Who you got?
I was thinking maybe Morgana. She's like pretty fun, and like the fact you're just like everyone knows you're gonna press Q, so it's like a whole mini game there, like where they're gonna juke and stuff. And then there's also the part of the kit where you can just flash in at some point. Like if they're disrespecting, you're just like obviously the whole lane you're chilling, pressing W from max range. But then there's this one moment where like there's an angle and you just flash on top of them and ult, and then even if they flash, they won't get out of range. It's pretty fun. And she's just been gone for like 7 years now.
She's been not very good.
She was like
In the jungle, bro.
Yeah, she's a jungler now. Thanks, Riot. She was like
Yeah.
a mainstay for a long time, and now she's just gone. So it's kind of sad.
No,
Maybe she could come
that's
back.
a good one. We've got a look ahead with Kia. The LTA addressed a lot of concerns that players and fans had with the format, and they got a lot of changes. So, what are you most looking forward to coming into this next split?
BU5s in playoffs with double elimination, so that my whole split isn't over if I lose one best of 3.
Mm-hmm. Anything you're planning on doing like from now until the start of the split to get ready for it?
Well, we're playing best of 1s for the first 3 weeks, and for the last couple months, we've been playing 2 blocks of best of 3 fearless. So like 3 games fearless, and then reset 3 more games fearless. But now we'll probably play 3 games, just normal games like best of 1s, and then we'll play 1 block of fearless afterwards. I think.
I think that's what we were talking about. Yeah.
That's what people were
I'm not
doing
sure
in
what we
academy
settled
last
on.
year,
Okay.
apparently. So we'll probably try a different way of scrimming. We'll see how that goes. I think it'll be fun to do both.
Cool. Well, our
Awesome.
next matches start April 5th. So thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
That'll be it for this episode of the Cloud9 Kia Forecast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And, tell us what you thought about the LTA changes down below.
Peace.